You ever take a piss long enough that you begin to contemplate lost mysteries? That's when you know you drank a lot of booze. Now, Well, look at that. Mr. Judge has arrived. I hope he plays a nice melody with Althea. Luckily for you, he's also part of this tale. His role is more important than Foxglove ever realizes. Nice tune. It can make you lose yourself if one's not careful. You can see the other patrons are falling for a spell. You and I seem to be the wiser. Well, let's get back to it. Valdez was ecstatic to say the least. Foxglove brought back Isabella and took out the evil menace that could have ruined the drunken star. Logan took Isabella upstairs to one of the rooms. The cook, Seto, and some customers explored the caves Foxglove went through. Hitachi, Viet, and Richard sat at a table with Valdez and filled him in on the details of what transpired down there. Valdez was truly grateful and offered them mead for life.
You've done me a great service. I can't thank you enough. If you boys need anything, let me know.
Foxglove took the offer without hesitation. Sama and I was needed for their recent travel. Hitachi used his time to look at the message board for surrounding work. Patrons from all over like to put up contracts and advertisements whenever possible. Richard was a social loaf and wanted to know more about the area than drink. Logan came downstairs to ask if there was a way of curing the necrotic bite in Isabella. Viet was an novice in the healing arts, but he couldn't let someone innocent die. Viet stayed by his side and used all the time and energy to heal the wound, no matter what it took. Hitachi returned to the table with a contract in hand to show Richard. The details were simple. Lost and need found. The man you hear right now is in need of retrieving some supplies he had on a horse he was riding. Some unknown assailant attacked him and spooked the horse into the woods. On the horse was a package that he desperately needed. A black box with red trim. In return of finding it, he will grant the employer a wish. A wish? You know how rare of an opportunity of a lifetime it is for someone to stumble on some kind of chance like that? Like finding a small cut diamond lying on the ground. Everyone too busy with their eyes on the prize when much bigger things are simply at their feet. Foxglove was truly lucky to find such a thing. Oh, looks like getting some negative looks coming my way. Sorry. As you were, Mr. Dead. Sorry, mates. Go back to what you were doing. I apologize for making that outbreak awkward. Let us continue. While Itachi and Richard were discussing such a reward, another traveler came from the east. He was strong in all of his physique. In his nature, the sword alone was all he needed to solve problems. A katana. Equal to the bastard sword, if not greater. Wielding one takes considerate skill, mind you. With it, he was looking for able bodies who would need that strength. His name was June. He came across the drunken star and decided to start his search there. Inside was several patrons enjoying themselves and the wenches that were mingling with the customers. June saw two men in the back. One had an armband sword with the symbol of a plant. The other one had it on a sash at his hip. He sat at a table near them to see who they belonged to. They weren't part of the Bavarian army, so who else could they be? He watched their movements, mannerisms, how they went into detail of the contract they had in their possession. 20 minutes must have went by when two more fellows walked in with the same symbol as these two. One on the shoulder strap of an elf, another on the headband on a dwarf. They looked around the place and moved to the back to their allies. The elf's name was Zeros. He dealt in the arts of magic in the Inferno. He was a warlock. Nasty bunch. They can get the job done with a blast that could send you flying. The dwarf was Vondel. He abandoned his home under a mountain and took to traveling, learning the art of self-defense. A martial artist, if you will. He was a bit odd in my opinion. I know a few humans like that, abstract in society, but knew how to survive the streets if the time presented itself. Anyway, Itachi and Richard were in awe to see their allies so far from the guild. Why are you two here? Should you be at the guild taking in contracts?
Aye, we were but one contract turned real bad. One of our boys messed up on a hunt against the doppelganger. One of them freaky copycatting mimics. The plan was to poison the batch of food for him at a party. Well, the thing must have saw it coming or something. Instead, everyone was poisoned, killing 3 nobles in the process. He never even made it out alive. Now our guild is to blame and they want compensation. They tore the damn place down, Itachi. Me and the wimpy elf here made it to you to warn you. What do we do now?
This hit Itachi hard. Richard pulled out a pipe and began puffing it. losing himself in his own thoughts. He had to tell Viet as well. He would not be too happy. This was not looking good for Foxglove in the least. June had everything he needed here. He stood up and made his way to the group. He put a bag of coins on the table and bowed. I want in. What do I need to do? Poor Tachi can only get so surprised. There's the contract, the falling of Foxglove, a newcomer. He looked at the stranger with a grin on his face. What an eventful day. If you can prove yourself, then you're more than welcome. Here, sit down. Join us. June sat down with them. He met with each one of Foxglove and they in return. Soon they were swapping tales of their exploits and accomplishments. They used the rest of the day to relax, drinking the famous honey mead the Drunken Star had to offer, and eating great food from what the cook could make. As the sun set on the horizon, Hitachi wanted to check the request of the contract they wanted to undertake. He had to meet Mr. Dedge, the same one that is playing this tune. He was outside talking to merchants and caravanners. As Hitachi went to check, the others decided to take some drinking and playing cards. Across the ways, three guys decided they had enough liquid courage that they found Sarah as a bit of a plaything. They did the catcalling and preventing her from working. Vonda looked toward the direction of this incident that was about to occur. He stood up, fixed his belt, and went over to the three young lads. Richard took note and nodded in disbelief. Jane looked at Richard, then Vonda as he was walking straight into trouble. You should have seen this, mate. It was astounding to watch. Vonda moved the purpose. All he said was, stop what you're doing. They didn't even have time to tell him to piss off when one of them found his head bouncing off the table, caused him to go to sleep immediately. The other two reached for weapons. One grabbed a mug, another a chair. Vonda stepped to the left, going for the mug user. He grabbed it and twisted it, causing the troublemaker to get his fingers locked into the handle. One punch, and his nose cracked, eyes watered, and out he went. The last one jumped on the table and swung the chair with all his might. Vonda lifted his right arm in the nick of time to block. Tell you this, that dwarf was none too happy. He grabbed the man's legs and pulled, causing him to fall on the table. He then took the opportunity and threw him at the wall. Yes, now I know gravity keeps us upright and on the ground. To Vondel, this did not apply. He bounced off the wall, falling just as hard to the ground. He lay there, whimpering in the fetal position, and wanted nothing more than ever trying that again. June was in awe. Vondel took 3 out in less than 10 seconds. He wanted to know what kind of guild this really was. Logan came downstairs to deal with the problem, but instead found 3 drunkards out cold. Vondel came back to the table. Logan and the cook took the 3 harassers and tossed them outside. Meanwhile, on the torch's end, he met Mr. Dirge on a nearby stump, counting coin to pass the time. Mr. Dirge was a singer of songs and a teller of tales. He was young with blonde hair and both arms covered in ink. He kept them covered most of the times. The clothes were self-tailored and looked as if some type of entertainment qualities. Hitachi approached with notice in hand. Mr. Dirge smiled. Well, hello, good sir. I see you have found an interest in my contract and have come to take up the sword and locate my possession that I have misplaced. Mr. Dirge was a strange one. His word heart was greater than most people that Hitachi's ever met. My horse threw me off, and it seems to have dashed off into the Sylvan Woods. On it were my commodities and supplies. I'm not materialistic, but I do fancy a certain box that I have misplaced in the satchel of my saddle. In return to bringing it to me, I will grant a wish of your desire. Do you still hold the tenacity to find what is lost? Or did your thoughts sway you to change your mind? Hitachi was hesitant. He felt that Mr. Dirge was hinting at something nerve-wracking. He grew the courage and accepted the contract. He would gather his group and head out in the morning. For now, dusk approached and they would not get far in the search. He went back inside, sipping over a few bodies that were out in the streets groaning in pain. The next day, Foxglove made its way down the road, heading east. Hitachi had to get in contact with the other guild members and needed Richard's help. So he let June, Vondel, and Zeros go and retrieve the bard's box in his stead. June was suspicious toward strangers and didn't like the information that Hitachi told them. It was a bit vague. And to top it all off, what was inside the box? They came across the spot where Mr. Dedge fell off his horse. Vondel focused his efforts on the road, while June looked at the woodline for any clues. A few travelers were coming and going. Some looked at the group a bit odd. Now, do you remember those guys who were harassing Sarah earlier? Well, they happened to come down the same road they were, with revenge in their heads. Zero saw them coming and let the group know. This looked like one of those western standoffs I've heard about. The leader of them had a crushed nose. He snorted and looked at Vondel with distaste. They yelled, cussed, and insulted the Foxglove while boasting and flaunting their weapons about. Now, you can imagine what's going to happen to those that are careless and seek trouble. Well, let's just say it didn't end well for those three. Zero shot a purple-like blast of magic from his hand, giving the man a chest cavity 3 inches wide. He took a few steps without even realizing he was dead. June countered an attack, putting his katana through the attacker's neck, and watching the life drain as he choked on his own blood. The broken-nose guy, which I guess we'll call Jim, managed to stab Vondel, only to be put in a headlock. He struggled for a few seconds, trying to claw his way out. Soon, his eyes closed, and his body went limp. You're probably thinking that killing him is a crime, and could have found another way to settle it. Well, lad, sometimes you don't get to choose. Out here, the game is about surviving. If you get to go home, you win. There are no rules. Now, if you feel like this tale is too much for you, you can walk away now. I won't think less of it. Thank you, love. Alright, let's proceed. You'll like what's coming up next. Foxglove looted the corpses and took the coin from them. The dead one couldn't use it, so might as well scavenge it for themselves. Vondel kicked the ringleader, of course, spouting curses. It was like watching a child getting flustered with stacking building blocks. The group made their way into the woods, following the one-day-old trail of the horse. As they trekked farther in, the woods seemed to hold some type of presence. The trees stretched high toward the sky. The sound of cracking noises were heard from time to time. The sound of a child's laugh, too distant to make out where. Things would catch their attention, but as they gazed around, nothing was there. The Sylvan Woods were more mysterious than you could ever imagine. It was a stepping stone to the Fey Plane. There was something here, though, watching Foxglove from afar. Something that was quiet and knew the woods exceptionally well. Foxglove moved with caution. After a mile, they heard some noises at a clearing up ahead. There were 4 of them, all in leather armor. 2 had bows and were watching the surrounding area. The other 2 were over a large corpse. Now we can assume it to be the horse. Red feathered arrows sticking out of the horse's carcass like a porcupine, yet the bowman had white feathered. June was the only one to notice this minor detail. Foxglove hid nearby, watching and overhearing the conversation. Vondel heard a noise from the right. He slid away from the group to go and investigate it. The one near the carcass was obviously the ringleader. He was bald with a tattoo on the back of his skull. It looked like a red scar with stitches gone across it every which way. For preference, let's just call him Baldy. That'll work for me. I like frozen ice. Don't judge me. They were having trouble trying to undo the pack on the horse. Zeros knew that they were outnumbered and wanted to see if an opportunity would present itself. June was waiting patiently, hand on a sheathed blade. Vondel found an opportunity that was better than being surprised. He found one of those bandit-looking fellows hiding. Even in the woods, the predator can often be seen as prey. Vondel approached with a smile. He grabbed the bandit's neck and snapping it. Vondel whispered to himself, "Don't forget to smile." Odd choice of words, don't you think? He measured on his way back to his friends, feeling a bit accomplished for what he did. Once he returned, they were trying to come up with a game plan to see if they'd get the box off the horse, while luring the bandits away. While Zeus and Jill were deciding on who they would focus on, Vondel again, this dwarf impresses me. He walks out of the woods, goes straight toward the bandits, and starts spouting things like, "No, no, 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 not good. This can't be happening. Oh, this poor creature. This is bad. This is really bad." The bandits were looking toward their leader, but even he was confused on what in the 9 hells was happening right now. He didn't know where to begin. He thought this dwarf lost it, or maybe his horse, or what? Vondel continued to spout and cuss about the horse. G and Zeros watched with a blank stare in their eyes in disbelief. They thought that Vondel was going to get himself killed. The dwarf made it to the horse, bawling and crying, putting on a grand show. He tried to undo the saddle to get to the box, but it was wrapped around the creature pretty well. Bolty tried to say something, anything, to figure out what the dwarf was on about. But Vondel yelled, complained, and being hysterical, all making his way back. No one had any idea why Vondel did what he did. He managed to get to the horse and everything without a single bandit attacking him. That's not even the best part. As the bandits were unsure of what transpired, Baldy gave the nod of killing him. But as fate would have it, another creature wanted the horse. A griffin. It flew in. Bandits yelled and dived out of the way. It grabbed the... You look confused. You don't know what a griffin is, do you? Alright, well, it's a large bear. It has a muscular body like that of a lion. Its head, wing, and forelegs are like that of an eagle. They are swift with the might and grace combined, making this creature truly deadly if found on the receiving end of those talons. Well, unfortunately for Vondel, he didn't take that in consideration. He charged the creature as it grabbed the horse to take off. He jumped off one of the bandits that was crouched and grabbed him in the hind legs of the horse. The bandits and the remaining of Foscled watched as the griffin flew away, climbing higher and higher toward the skies, heading toward the mountains with the horse and a dangling dwarf holding on for dear life. Baldy rubbed his head and looked at his group. I'm out. Seen enough strange things today. Let's get out of here. Where's Keith? Sadly for Keith, he's not going to be able to make it. They made their way into the woods to find their allies. Zeus and June just stood there as they watched Vondel being dwarfed napped by a bird lion. They knew this was going to be a long day. They took... Hey, watch him, mate. Time to square up.